Today's Meta Monday episode is going to look into the future of EX6. With so many new support cards for various archetypes in EX6 and set to drop just 2 weeks away, Diaboromon is the first one that I have my eye on. Disclaimer, I am not trying to push people to manipulate the market here, but if you haven't picked up your set of keramons yet from BT2, I strongly recommend it. This card, though a rare, has only been reprinted once, and with the popularity of the villain Diaboromon, this is largely a staple for the deck. With that being said, let's just jump right into the list. I have explored 2 versions of the deck so far. One that is a purist type of build that is all unidentified, and another variant that takes from a few other cards that you might find to your liking. Though the adjustments are minor, I will mainly speak from a purist line, but offer the benefits of the non-purist text as well. For level 2s, Sumemon is going to be the sole egg of the deck. There are 2 different variants total. The first one providing a 2000 DP buff on your turn, while you have another Digimon in play with the same name. The second being a draw 1 when you attack and have the unidentified trait. The last egg does not make an appearance until BT17, so at this point, your eggs are quite limiting. If you really wanted to, you could go with the usual suspects like Kyokyoumon, or even Tokomon if your local or meta is always deleting stuff on their turn. Level 3 wise, you're running strictly keramons. Both variants that I've tested run the BT2 keramon for the extra draw power when a Digimon with the same name is played. Meaning at level 6, if you play an option card like Catastrophe Cannon, not only do you de-Digivolve and spawn a Diaboromon token, but you also get a draw card. The rest are simple searchers to find your pieces. Do keep in mind that EX6 keramon does search for a Tamer or option with Diaboromon in the text, and 1 card with the unidentified in its traits, versus BT5 keramon who adds specifically a Rata Sonata and a Digimon with the unidentified trait. The best part of the new keramon, you trash the rest. With a Rata Sonata in play, this gives you the ability to have that memory gain set up without having to attack and sacrifice a played body. The level 4s are largely the same with previous builds. 4 from BT2 for the memory gain when a Digimon with the same name is played. 2 for the rush element and playing a Rata Sonata if you don't have one in play. And 4 of the newest one that lets you play for a reduced cost of 3 by deleting one of your other Digimon with the unidentified trait. Meaning if you have kurisarimon in play with the keramon inheritable, you could yeet another unidentified trait Digimon and play this to draw a card. This card is especially effective because on play and when digivolving, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 3 or less. Floodgates? No more. On deletion, if this card has the unidentified trait, you spawn a Diaboromon token without paying cost. This is kind of a nice way to now keep a Diaboromon on board at all times. The level 5s though are where things start deviating. While yes, both builds will run the new EX6 Infermon, the rest of the level 5s deviate here. EX6 Infermon has an on-play and when digivolving effect that lets you delete one of your other Digimon with Diaboromon in its name to digivolve into a Diaboromon in your hand without paying cost. Assuming you're set up, you can climb much more efficiently into a level 6 now without having to expend too much memory, all at the expense of a single token. But of the timing, you could digivolve into Diaboromon ACE, play a token, then de-digivolve a Digimon with this Digimon's inheritable. The control aspects just got so much better. With a non-purist build, you'll utilize 3 Mememons in the build to create more Diaboromon blockers, at least temporarily until you can get EX6 Diaboromon live. Because this build also utilizes more Tamers, this makes the potential Digivolution cost 2, for the fact that playing into Izzy lets you glean the top 3 and rearrange, then gain a memory if they were all black. Considering this version of the build has no non-black cards, even better. But for the purist build, I split between the Warp Digivolving Infermon and the EX1 Infermon for the memory tax. While Magnamon X could be a problem, the only problem at this point in the format is Numemon. But for your level 6s, this is where both decks run the same 8 level 6s. 4 Diaboromon ACE for the Blast Digivolve surprise factor and the being able to spawn a Diaboromon token instantly. Because of the effect, when an effect plays another Digimon, you may delete one of your opponent's play cost 3 or lower Digimon. At initial Digivolve you can play a token, and delete a play cost 5 or lower Digimon. Considering you could have de-Digivolved too, this makes it more likely. But with an Rata Sonata in play, you can even snipe pesky ace Digimon that are 7 cost. The new Diaboromon from EX6 completely replaces the EX1 Diaboromon, for the fact that this gives your other Diaboromon jamming and blocker. This also spawns a Diaboromon token at the start of main, when digivolving, and also when your opponent's Digimon is played. Talk about massive board swarms. Because this Digimon is black, this does create a massive improvement of using memory boosts and training options for searching. For the purest build, you could opt to run one Armageddon, or not. You could also drop it altogether for one copy of Deathxmon since the card is black and searchable. For now, I'm definitely leaning for the Deathxmon mainly until BT17, where Armageddon must be absolutely needed. Other options are Quartzmon, but I personally am not a fan of this card in the build. Option card wise, I keep it relatively tame with 3 Catastrophe Cannons for the time being, because de-digivolve and spawning a token is nice. Not to mention, with so many Ace Digimon, Catastrophe Cannon could potentially be free or memory gain if the kurisarimon is in the sources. Defense training is another option to use with the deck, while also finding more pieces. But your alternative solutions could be bigger board wipes like Ultimate Flare. With Peoria's results, there were so many Numemon decks that Ultimate Flare might become the norm. Dimension might have some application as well. But the last option card of course could go to Iron Fisted Onslaught. For the other build, because Mememon can be so inefficient, Black Memory Boost has some role here for extra memory as well. But the Tamers of course are largely going to be Izzy Azumi and Arata Sonata. In Security, Izzy is in essence X-Antibody for stealing a memory on your opponent's turn. This also sets you to 3, and also sets up the next 3 draws for you. Arata on the other hand can create Diaboromon tokens fairly effectively, and honestly I don't see any builds for Diaboromon running less than 3. Diaboromon is by no means perfect in EX6, but it does get a lot of new tools to make it work better. BT17 however is where the deck will truly be full power to a degree, and until then, I'll continue enjoying the breadcrumbs that Bandai throws to the various archetypes that aren't quite there yet. What are your thoughts on Diaboromon, and what other EX6 decks are you interested in? Let me know your thoughts, because I'll be hitting 2 essay topics this week. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.